The moment your eyes open in the morning, before your feet touch the ground, before the noise of the world finds you, you're standing in the most powerful moment of the day. Right there, in that silence, lies the first choosing to speak from fear or to speak from focus. What most people don't realize is that your morning words don't just describe your life, they begin to shape it. The words you say to yourself when the world is still quiet are not small, they are not meaningless. They are commands, directions, and declarations sent straight to your subconscious mind. If you speak defeat, you prime yourself for failure. If you speak discipline, you prepare yourself for greatness. Let others wake up and scroll through distractions. Let them speak of tiredness, of regret, of, I can't. But not you. You understand something deeper. That morning is not just a time of day, it is a ritual, a sacred alignment between thought and intention. The first few minutes are when your inner architecture is most easily molded. Your subconscious is still waking, still listening, and still absorbing. In this moment, it believes whatever you tell it, and so, you must speak with intention. You must speak with certainty. You must speak as if your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. If you wake up saying, another hard day, your body will follow, your breath will slow, your mind will search for problems before solutions. But if you rise and say, I am built for this, I will focus, I will win today, then something incredible happens. Your biology starts to align with that truth. Your chemistry changes. Your perception narrows toward your goals, and what once looked like chaos begins to take shape. You may not believe that words hold this kind of weight, but let me ask you this. What has ever moved mountains in this world without first being spoken into existence? A business was once an idea. A revolution was once a whisper. A future is always first a thought turned into a word, and then that word made flesh through action. Your future is no different. Your success will not come from random luck or outer noise. It will come from the inner voice you train every single morning to remind you who you are, what you're capable of, and why you won't quit. It isn't magic, it's mindset. The habit of speaking strong words at the beginning of the day rewires your response to everything that comes next. Traffic won't shake you. Doubt won't break you. Distractions won't seduce you. Because you already started with clarity, you already spoke your truth out loud, and that truth becomes armor. Others live in reaction. You live in command. This doesn't mean you'll never feel tired. Agreement, it doesn't mean challenges won't come. But the difference is, you no longer wait for motivation. You manufacture it with your mouth. You say it, and then you live it. The very act of speaking discipline makes you more disciplined. The repetition of words like, I focus, I deliver, I win, starts to burn a trail into your nervous system. You stop doubting. You stop delaying. You begin acting in alignment with the identity you're reinforcing every day. So many waste the first moments of their morning speaking about what they lack. But you are different. You speak what you're building, you talk about what you're becoming, and slowly, over time the world starts to catch up to the image you have created with your language. The outside begins to match the inside. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. But this only happens when you stop treating your mornings as accidents and start treating them as blueprints. You don't stumble into greatness. You speak it. You declare it before it has even arrived. You say, I am, before the world gives you permission. You don't wait to see the proof. You speak the result in advance. And you keep speaking it until it becomes real. Say it when you feel strong. Say it when you feel weak. Say it when it's hard to believe, especially then, because that's when it matters most. The words you use before the world speaks back. Those are the words that define you. They are the first bricks in the foundation of your next level. And if you keep laying those bricks every single morning, then reluctant agreement, one day the world will look up and see what you've built, but it won't be surprised, because you already saw it, you already spoke it. Reluctant agreement, you were just waiting for everyone else to catch up to the life you already claimed in silence. They rise every morning and speak from the residue of yesterday. The fear that clung to them as they slept wakes with them. They say things like, I hope today is better, or maybe I won't fail again, or worse, they say nothing at all. Silence, when it should be filled with conviction, becomes a breeding ground for uncertainty. But you are not like them. You do not greet your mornings with fear. You speak to your future. You speak from the place of power that already exists within you, waiting to be activated by your own voice. Every morning is a crossroad. You either affirm your past or you declare your future. There is no neutral ground. If you speak from fear, you carry it into every decision you make that day. You hesitate when you should act. You shrink when you should stand tall. But when you choose to speak to your future, you elevate your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy toward the person you're becoming, not the one you've been. You begin to rise as a creator, not a victim. That's the power of intentional words in the morning. You must understand, fear is clever. It whispers. It wears your voice and hides inside your thoughts. It pretends to be realism. It masks itself as caution. And if you let it, it becomes your default dialogue every morning. But you can override that. You can confront it. You can speak louder than it. When fear says, you're not enough, you respond with, I am ready. I am growing. I am unstoppable. Not just once, not softly, but with clarity and with force. You must say it with the kind of energy that fear cannot coexist with. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which version of reality to build. Every great achievement began with someone who spoke about a future that didn't yet exist and believed in it before anyone else could see it. Your job is the same. You don't wait until conditions are perfect. You don't wait until others validate you. You speak it before it's proven. You declare it while it's still invisible. That is what separates those who lead from those who follow. The beauty of the morning is that it's untouched. It's unclaimed. No failure has reached it yet. No judgment. No rejection. It is the most fertile soil for planting new truths. And the moment you begin to speak your future, you're watering that soil. You're choosing to see through the lens of possibility, not limitation. You're giving your subconscious a new script to follow, one that is built not on fear, but on belief, direction, and inner authority. Say things like, I am building momentum. I am becoming who I need to be. I am prepared for the challenges ahead. These aren't just empty affirmations. They are anchors. They pull you toward a reality that is being formed one decision at a time. And because you said it in the morning, your decisions throughout the day begin to align with what you declared. You act with more certainty. You respond with more calm. You lead with more focus. Why? Because you already decided who you are before the world had a chance to decide for you. When you speak to your future, you activate a mental GPS. Your thoughts start to seek out routes that align with your vision. You start noticing the right opportunities. You attract the right energy. Not because of superstition, but because your mind is working in alignment with your words. If you speak like a leader, you start to think like one. If you speak like a disciplined individual, you behave like one. That's how the process works. Words create thought. Thought fuels behavior. Behavior forms habits. Habits build results, and results change lives. This is why so many never break through. They keep reinforcing their past with every word they speak. I'm always late. I'm just not motivated. Things never work out for me. These are spells, spoken over and over again until they become identity. But you cast new words. You speak from the place where growth begins. You say, I am focused. I rise above distraction. Today, I execute with precision. These aren't lies. They are future truths. And you're choosing to live them early. Do not underestimate the influence of the words you whisper to yourself when no one is listening. That private voice becomes your public reality. You cannot speak small and expect to live big. You cannot feed fear and hope to grow courage. Your language must match your ambition. And every single morning, you have the chance to reset that alignment, to reject the doubt, to silence the fear, and to declare, with full conviction, the future you are stepping into, one word at a time. So speak it, not once but daily, with strength, with belief, with the kind of certainty that causes the world to adjust around your presence. Speak not where you've been, but where you're going. And soon, you'll arrive exactly where your voice has led you. They will tell you that saying the same thing every day won't change anything, that words repeated lose their meaning. But I tell you, they don't understand the mind. They don't understand that repetition is not about convincing the world. It's about rewiring you. Your thoughts, your responses, your reflexes, all of it is formed by what you expose your mind to, again and again. Repetition is not weakness. It is the weapon of those who are building something stronger than fear. It is how new belief systems are forged. In the beginning, when you say something like, I am disciplined, your mind may argue. You may remember all the days you weren't. But the point of repetition isn't to reflect where you are. It's to reshape where you're going. You repeat it not because it's true today, but because you are making it true tomorrow. That is the mindset of those who win. They do not wait for the evidence. They create the evidence by repeating the thought, forming the belief, and aligning their actions. You must understand that the subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between truth and repetition. It simply responds to the message it hears the most. So if every morning you tell it you are lazy, unmotivated, tired, it believes you, and it behaves accordingly. But if you reverse it, if you begin saying, I finish what I start, I create results, I show up fully, then a shift begins, slowly at first, quietly, but then it gathers momentum, because repeated words form belief, and belief is the soil from which all transformation grows. This is why the morning matters so much, because it is the cleanest space for planting. Your defenses are low. Your distractions haven't yet pulled you away. In that moment of silence, your words go deeper. They don't just float around the room. They take root in your nervous system. They begin to change how you feel, how you think, how you act, but only if you repeat them. Once is not enough. Power comes through practice, certainty comes through commitment, and confidence is born from consistency. It is like lifting weights for the mind. You don't get stronger by thinking about the gym. You get stronger by showing up, again and again, putting in the reps. The same is true for your internal strength. Every declaration you make in the morning is a mental rep, a reinforcement of who you are becoming. You say it until your body believes it, until your breath aligns with it, until your behavior proves it. That is how winners are built, not in flashes of brilliance, but in daily moments of repetition. It doesn't matter if your voice shakes. It doesn't matter if you feel like a fraud when you say it. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to keep going. The discomfort means you're stretching beyond who you were. You're rewiring the system. You're disrupting the patterns that kept you small. And the only way to fully break free is to keep saying the new message until it becomes louder than the old one. Not just louder in volume, louder in authority, louder in truth. There will be days when the words feel empty. Say them anyway. There will be days when your results haven't caught up yet. Say them anyway, because repetition is not about immediate gratification. It's about long-term transformation. You are not just saying something in the morning. You are rehearsing your future. You are installing a new mental operating system, one that doesn't glitch every time things get hard, one that doesn't default to self-doubt when pressure builds, one that runs with clarity, focus, and unshakable belief. Think of every great athlete, every top performer, every person who rose beyond their circumstances. They didn't just train their bodies, they trained their minds. And that training began with repetition, mantras, phrases, affirmations, intentional words spoken until they were not just words, they were reality. If it worked for them, it will work for you. But only if you do it daily, relentlessly, with purpose. You are not saying these words for motivation, you are saying them for transformation. This is the difference. Motivation is a spark, but transformation is fire that stays lit, even when the winds of adversity blow. That fire comes from repetition, the daily, disciplined act of saying, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and nothing will stop me from becoming it. You say it when no one believes you. You say it before the world sees it, and eventually, the world will see it. Because you never stopped speaking it. Speak it in the mirror. Speak it while brushing your teeth. Speak it while walking to your next challenge. Let your voice become the sound of your future, playing on repeat. Let it become so familiar, so ingrained, that doubt no longer has space to live. And when that happens, when your repetition becomes belief, and your belief becomes action, then, and only then, will you realize that the words you say every morning weren't just sounds, they were seeds. And now, you are standing inside the harvest. Most people spend their lives chasing results. They want the money, the health, the success, the attention. They ask, what should I do to get it? But they miss the deeper truth, that doing flows from being. Results are not the starting point, they are the byproduct of identity. Until you change who you believe you are, nothing you do will stick. You might get a few wins, but you will always fall back to the level of your self-image. This is why the words you say each morning must speak not of what you want, but of who you are becoming. Because identity always comes before results. The mistake is thinking you need proof before you believe, that you must earn the right to speak confidently. But that's not how transformation works. You must speak it first. You must declare the new identity before the results arrive, because it is the belief in that identity that drives the actions which produce the results. Most people wait. They wait until they've lost the weight to say, I'm healthy. They wait until the business succeeds to say, I'm an entrepreneur. They wait until someone else believes in them before they believe in themselves. And that's why they stay stuck. You must flip that script. You must begin each morning by saying what most people only say after they've won. You must declare, I am focused. I am consistent. I am worthy. I am a leader. Not because it's fully true yet, but because you are choosing to build your life around that truth. When you speak it daily, your actions begin to align. Your mind begins to protect that identity. Your decisions start filtering through the lens of the person you've already claimed to be. Your current circumstances do not define you, your current identity does. And the fastest way to shift your identity is to speak as the person you are becoming. Say it, feel it, embody it, even if your environment doesn't support it yet. Even if your bank account, your relationships, your progress haven't caught up. None of that matters, because your words are not a reflection, they are a command. They don't describe your reality, they create it. It is identity that carries you through hard seasons. If you see yourself as weak, you'll break under pressure. If you see yourself as powerful, you'll rise under it. This is why the morning routine must begin with identity statements. They are not affirmations for show, they are tools for rewiring. They are declarations of war against the old self. The version of you that hesitated, that doubted, that made excuses, that version doesn't get to speak anymore. You've taken the microphone back. Speak as the version of yourself that already knows the mission, that already sees the vision, that already walks with purpose. This is not delusion, this is decision. The decision to no longer let your identity be shaped by past failures, but by future intention. You are not your mistakes, you are your commitment to rise beyond them. And that commitment must be voiced loudly, clearly, and repeatedly. You don't become great by accident. You become great by waking up every single day and reminding yourself who you are, until the world starts reflecting it back to you. You walk like it, talk like it, think like it, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching, because identity is not public, it's private first, it's built in silence, in the quiet moments when you speak to yourself with discipline and truth. The man who builds a fortress does not wait until the storm arrives to lay the foundation. He prepares before the winds come. Your morning identity is your foundation. If you do not speak it into being, the world will assign you one. It will tell you who you are, and more often than not, it will get it wrong. It will base your identity on your job, your past, your fears, your failures. But not you. You reclaim that right. you choose to tell the world who you are, by first telling yourself. So tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, don't ask what the day will bring, ask who you need to be, and then speak it, declare it. I am resilient, I am focused, I am building, I am unshakable. Let those words echo through your being. Let them set the tone for every action you take that day, and then repeat it again the next day, and the next, until your identity is no longer something you recite, it's something you live. Because once you fully step into the identity of the person you were meant to be, the results will follow, automatically, inevitably, unstoppably, and you will realize that all along, the life you wanted wasn't something outside of you. It was waiting within, waiting for the day you decided to speak it out loud. There's a reason some people repeat the same words every morning and never change. They recite affirmations like a script, flat, empty, mechanical. But words without emotion are like seeds thrown on stone. They never take root. If you want your morning declaration to reshape your life, you must say it not just with your mouth, but with your soul. You must feel it as you speak it. That emotion, that fire behind your words, is what carves them deep into the fabric of your subconscious. That's where the change begins. The words you say every morning are only half the equation. The other half is how you say them. If you say, I am powerful, but you sound defeated, your nervous system doesn't believe you. But if you say it with presence, with conviction, with energy that vibrates in your chest, something inside you wakes up, something ancient, something strong. That's the part of you that doesn't respond to logic. It responds to intensity. It doesn't need proof. It follows certainty, and certainty comes from emotional alignment. Every morning, when you speak to yourself, you are either rehearsing your future or reinforcing your fear. But what determines which one you feed is the emotion behind your words. Emotion is energy in motion. When you say, I am capable, and your voice is calm but alive, your breath steady but charged, your posture firm but relaxed, then your entire being shifts to match what you are saying. That's when the subconscious listens. That's when change begins at the cellular level. You cannot whisper your way to transformation, not because volume matters, but because energy matters. Feel the words in your bones. Let your body participate in the declaration. Say them while standing tall, shoulders back, chest open. Let your physiology amplify your psychology. Let the vibration of your voice rise to the level of your belief. If you say, I am committed, but your body is slouched and your tone is dull, then you are not committed, you are hoping. And hope is not what rewires the mind, certainty is. People try to fix their lives with new strategies, new plans, new habits, but they forget the engine behind all of it, emotion. Emotion is the fuel that moves the vehicle. Without it, you may have a clear direction, but you will never move forward. When you speak in the morning, you are not just reminding yourself of who you are lighting the fire beneath that identity. And the more intense that fire, the faster the transformation. Think back to every moment that changed you, every moment that forced you to grow. It wasn't a mild moment. It was emotional. It was charged. Something inside you broke or something powerful awoke. That's how real change happens. That's why every morning, your declaration must not be a checklist. It must be a ritual, a ceremony where you call forth the strongest, most focused, most fearless version of yourself, not with casual words, but with fierce belief. Say it as if your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The life you're building, the future you're creating, the impact you're here to make, all of it hinges on whether or not you believe yourself when you speak. Not when others cheer, not when things are easy, but alone, in the quiet, when only you can hear your voice. Do you believe it then? That's the test. That's where the winners are made. In the private moments of spoken power backed by emotion. Do not be afraid to feel what you're saying. If the words bring tears, let them fall. If the words bring strength, let it show in your posture. If the words bring fire, let them burn through every doubt and excuse inside of you. Let your declarations cleanse the fear and light up your conviction. This is not drama. This is design. You are shaping yourself each morning, and emotion is the sculptor's tool. Some mornings you may wake up tired, uncertain, even broken. That is especially when you must say the words. Not quietly, not doubtfully, but with whatever strength you have left. Say, I rise today. Say, I am stronger than yesterday. Say, this day bends to my will. Say it until the emotion inside you grows, until your voice returns, until your power reactivates. You do not wait for the emotion to speak. You speak until the emotion shows up. This is the mastery, learning to generate the feeling before the result. That is what leaders do. That is what builders do. They don't wait for success to feel successful. They feel it first, and then they build a life to match it. Your morning declaration is your rehearsal, your training ground, your battlefield. You go into it to remember who you are, and to ignite who you are becoming. So tomorrow, when you stand before the mirror, or sit in the silence, don't just repeat the words. Become the words. Speak them like a warrior ready for battle. Speak them like a leader stepping into legacy. Speak them like a soul who already knows the path, even when the road is still unseen. Because when emotion meets declaration, transformation is no longer a hope, it becomes inevitable. There is a connection that most people never make. A bridge between thought and action, a force that links the words you say to the outcomes you experience. That force is behavior, and behavior, more than anything else, is shaped by language. What you say over time becomes what you do, and what you do over time becomes who you are. So when you speak to yourself each morning, you are not just echoing hopeful phrases, you are programming the actions you will take. You are instructing your body, your mind, your emotions to move in a new direction. People underestimate this power. They say, it's just words. But words move nations. Words spark revolutions. Words end wars and begin them. Words are not soft. Words are not weak. Words are blueprints for behavior. When you declare each morning, I take responsibility, you begin to act in alignment with that identity. You notice when you're blaming others. You pause before complaining. You lean into growth, not comfort. That's not magic. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect. The greatest mistake you can make is speaking one identity and living another. When you say, I am disciplined, but you hit the snooze button 5 times, a fracture forms. Your mind begins to question your integrity. And if you repeat that pattern long enough, the words you say lose their meaning. That's why the morning declaration is only half the battle. The other half is action. You must live the words you speak, even in small ways, especially in small ways, because every time your behavior matches your declaration, you reinforce your belief. You build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes unstoppable momentum. The mind is watching, always, listening, measuring, tracking. Every time you say, I finish what I start, and you actually do, your brain takes note. We mean this now, it says. This is who we are. And with every repetition, the pathway becomes stronger. You begin to act from identity, not from motivation, from clarity, not from chaos. You no longer ask, do I feel like it today? You say, this is who I am. So this is what I do. That shift from feeling to identity-driven action is where the real power begins. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step, but that first step must come from belief, and belief begins with your words. That's why, when you wake up each morning and declare who you are, not who you were, not who the world told you to be, but who you choose to be, you are setting in motion a chain reaction. The words become thoughts, the thoughts become emotions, the emotions become action, and the action becomes destiny. Let your morning words not be soft pillows but firm commands. Let them tell your body to rise. Let them tell your fears to fall back. Let them speak not just to the surface, but to the soul. Because when you speak as the version of yourself that acts with intention, consistency, discipline, and strength, you begin to live like that version. And when you live like that version, you begin to get the results only that version could have created. You must understand, what you say in the morning is not a summary of your life. It is an instruction manual. You are telling your mind, this is what we focus on today, this is how we show up, this is the standard, and the mind, once properly directed, obeys, not always easily, not always instantly, but always eventually. Your words are the compass, your actions are the map, and your results are the destination that only alignment can reach. This is why you must be intentional with your language. No more vague goals, no more uncertain phrases. Speak with clarity. I execute under pressure. I do not fold when it gets hard. I finish what I start. I protect my focus. These are not cute sayings, these are marching orders. You say them in the morning, and then you live them all day. You don't just say you're focused. You put the phone down. You don't just say you're driven. You get back up when you fall. That's how the cycle works. Speech into action, action into identity, identity into transformation. There is a force inside you waiting for clear direction. It doesn't need more motivation. It doesn't need another podcast, another quote, another hype video. It needs orders. It needs your voice, speaking each morning with conviction. Because when you say it, and then do it, and then repeat it, the world starts to bend around that energy. People begin to respond differently. Opportunities start to appear. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You are not at the mercy of your past. You are not defined by your failures. You are only limited by the declarations you're too afraid to say, and the actions you're too undisciplined to take. Change that. Every morning, say the words, mean them, then live them, and do it again tomorrow. And the day after that, and soon, you'll look around and realize that everything you once hoped for, you now live. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you spoke it into existence, and then did the work to earn it. Speak it, believe it, live it.